So let's talk about this patch. And actually, I think we've all seen the patch. So we'll start the video here. And the long and the short of it, and why I'm kind of upset at this patch, and we'll go over why I'm upset first, and then we'll go over it. Blizzard clearly doesn't understand a couple things. One, diversity in the game. It has nothing to do what hero I can play. Because I can pick any hero I want at any point in time. It changes the game a little. But what really affects us more than anything else is what we play against. And as long as we're playing against the same shit, it doesn't matter what we pick, it's always going to feel the same. Just fucking over and over and over. That's what's going to feel. That's going to matter more than anything else in the entire game. More than anything, it doesn't matter how diverse the heroes you can pick are. If you're against the same shit every time, it always feels the same. They clearly don't understand this, because has any patch since Overwatch 2 come out actually changed the game? Like, we're not going to talk about patch cadence, we're not going to talk about, other stuff. Has any patch actually affected the game? Not really. Mercy, Sojourn, Kiriko. And then pick your flavor of tank, either it's going to be Hog or Orisa. That's what we've experienced in Overwatch 2 from the start. And they won't fucking do anything about it. That's why I'm so frustrated. We saw this tweet. Get out of here, patience. Andy Belford is the community manager right now. And it's really weird because in this tweet, he's like, "Oh, guys, you're wrong." And it's like, no, you're the community manager. You're there not for your own input, but to tell Blizzard how they're fucking up. But again, he's just like, I've seen a lot of that's it around this patch. So I'm going to clarify something. More frequent patching between the major seasonal patches means that oftentimes you'll see incremental changes that are aiming at something bigger. Oh, that's cool, but in the past 2 months, we've gotten 3 patches, and none of them have changed the fucking game. Sure, Junker Queen got some changes. Are they significant? Not really. Why? Orisa and Hog. Did anything change Sojourn? She got weaker. Still picked, though. Same fucking game. The idea that, yes, if we're getting patches every 2 weeks, they're not going to be major patches. Of course. But, they need to do something. They're not just there to fucking fill the need of a patch and then just kind of fuck off. They're here to do something. They better change the game. If you're making a change that's not there to change the game, why are you making it? It's ridiculous. And then he's like, patches aren't meant to be a panacea for all issues and for all issues that solves all issues. No, but this is the other thing I have with Blizzard's patching. They don't fucking address enough in one patch. Everything that was changed this patch should have been done last patch. They could have. It's all hot fixable. They could have made all these changes at once. Why are we not seeing more than 2 or 3 heroes be changed at once? And they're probably going to be like, oh, well, we don't want to affect the game too much. We got to see these changes and what happens from them. But they're such fucking small changes that it doesn't matter. Nothing's going to happen. It's ridiculous. Not only that, so we've been playing against Sojourn the entire game, all of Overwatch 2's, and they're like, well, maybe they don't want to dumpster a hero, but we know they do. Sombra, fucking fine with putting her in the dumpster. May, and then I don't want to say Doomfist has been dumpstered, but Doom is not doing the greatest. They're fine with putting people that, there's this weird list of protected heroes, and, Sombra, May, and Doom are not them. Some would say, oh, well, they need reworks because they have unfun mechanics, and I would say, well, then just get something out that makes them viable, but maybe not a throw pick. They could do something right now. They could increase May's damage. They could do something interesting. They don't gotta do a full rework. They can make her viable until they rework. And then as for the contents of the patch, Jeff Goodman actually kind of solved this one for us. When the content creators had their patch, the first one that was really bad, and I was like, you guys really fucked up your chance. You could have fixed a lot of things. Jeff Goodman mentioned that all the changes they did took about half a day. So we know these changes don't take a lot of time. And that's kind of where we're at right now. Like, the speed of the patching's fine. Every 2 to 3 weeks. It should be every 2 weeks. And if they're doing minor changes like he's saying, then they need to be a little bit better than what we have right now. They can't do a minor change to Sojourn once a season and be like, oh, but we're iterating towards a larger goal. It's like, no. If you're iterating towards a larger goal, fucking do it every 2 weeks. Sojourn get nerf. Small changes are good for buffing a hero so they don't get overpowered, but when we want something gone, like, this is it, guys. The community wants Sojourn gone. The end of day, we don't want Mercy or Sojourn fucking in the game right now. We're tired of them. Just do something. Do something major. You can nerf something majorly, that's great, but don't buff something major. Because then they get broken, and that's not that much fun. Yeah, they refuse to touch multiple heroes in a patch. I'm going over my notes. Oh yeah, this is just random bitching, but Hog was nerfed. But remember what they said about Ana buffs? Oh, we buffed Ana so that she could deal with Hog a little bit better. Once Hog's put in check, we're going to revert the Ana nerfs. They didn't fucking do that. Basically, what we're being told is we're going to be led around constantly. Oh, changes are coming, guys. Don't worry, changes are coming. Changes are coming. Don't change. It's right there. It's right around the corner. Meanwhile, it's been like 5 years since we have anything decent with Overwatch. Like, any big earth-shattering, like, ever since Roll Q, there's been no earth-shattering patches. And people are like, well, what do you mean? There's all... No, listen. When I'm talking earth-shattering patches, this is Dota. This is a minor patch. First of all, touching items in a MOBA is massive. And sure, there are minor changes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 items. And then let's see what heroes they modified. Some of them minor, some of them major. That's a minor patch for Dota. So when people are like, oh, they're iterating towards something. This is one iteration. This is what they should be doing every... If you're doing minor iterations, every 2 weeks. Constantly change everything towards where it needs to go. But they refuse. We know that changes can be done quickly. Jeff Goodman spoke to that. Changes can be done very quickly, especially these minor ones. The hotfix system, the devs talked about it. There was a couple heroes that couldn't get hotfixed. That's getting fixed now, and Hog is one of the heroes that couldn't get hotfixed, but now he can. But what about the rest of the cast? Yeah, 3 heroes can't, but what about, I don't know, the other 33? I forget how many there are now. But what about the rest of them? Why aren't they all getting changed? Why aren't we patching everything? Why aren't we just making the game as best as we can? And it comes down to what I feel is they're releasing balance patches as content updates. Balance brings people back in. So why would I balance the game perfectly when I could stretch it out and force people to come back every other week? If you haven't noticed, like, it's been like event. After the event, it's going to be like a drop, and then there's a patch, and then there's like another event, and then a patch, and then an event, and then the next is season, and then it's like they're constantly stringing us along. They should be able to, like, if season 3 doesn't touch 90% of the heroes and address like almost all the community's concerns, like, what the fuck are we doing here? It's getting really irritating. They can do all of this, they just choose not to. They have all the tools to do it, they're choosing. So let's go over the fucking patch, because it's a joke. Orisa, Fortify health bonus from 125 to 75. Not gonna do shit. This is not going to change Orisa at all. This doesn't target the problem with her. Both of her cooldowns probably need to be increased by 2 seconds. I would actually get rid of all of the bonus health to this ability. And more importantly, Fortify and Armor shouldn't stack. For those of you that don't know, it stacks. Meaning, first check, it's going to reduce damage by 50%, and then Armor reduces it by another 30%. That's a big fucking issue. But they're probably not going to fix it. Then we look at Roadhog. Impact damage, and by the way, I almost called these verbatim. Impact damage from 30 to 5, I called that. I didn't call this one, but obviously these two basically take away the one shot. He is outside melee range, so really what this does, just this right here, is it lowers his damage by 55 a combo. Because melee 30, and then 25 damage here. Not only that, but they reduce his damage by roughly 10%, like 12 or something. So, I mean, Hog did 160, was it? What was it? 6.6 times, how many bullets does he shoot out? Was it 25? I think it's 25, so he does 165. And they reduced his damage by 15 per shot. So on top of 55 damage, it's now extra 15, so he lost 70 damage to his combo. You're going to survive this, in most cases. They did give him a faster shot, quickened his reload, gave him one more shot to his ammo. But, yeah, they took 70 damage away from his combo. Pretty massive. Yeah, Chain Hook is still really good. It still repositions people, and they're probably going to die. You just need your team with it. There's a little bit more. I mean, this is a direction you can take him. There is going to be a soft rework they said of him, and they want to give him more utility. But that's coming down the road, like everything else. Sojourn. Energy gain no longer based on damage done by primary fire. Each primary fire hit against an enemy player now grants 5 energy. Damage from 10 down to 9. So this is the buff they gave her for no fucking reason. They finally reverted that. This should be, honestly, I think should be 5 or 6 damage. With how good her railgun is. But what this means is that any non-player still does the same deal. Shields are 1. And then structures are 1. Shields on a player give 5. Now, anytime she hits a player, always 5 charge. So no more charge on shields. No, shields still charge. You gotta understand, when we say shields, do we mean health point pool shields, like on Sigma? Or do we mean shield as something you deploy? She deploys on non-players the same as before, which is like 1. Yeah, she gets 1 charge whenever she shoots a building or a shield. But if she shoots player shields, meaning the health pool, she gains 5. Now, before, it was based on damage done. So if you did a headshot, double damage, double charge. So she gained 10 charge on a headshot. Well, with Mercy, that's an extra 30 damage. Or 30% damage. So she would gain 13 on a headshot. So that is a significant change to her charge if she's getting headshots. But the take from this is that against armor, she now gains it faster, because before it was based on damage done, so armor reduced damage, she would get 3 energy per shot instead of 5. So against armor targets, it's a buff. But against everything else, it's a nerf. It's not a bad way to go against it, but the problem people have with Sojourn is the railgun. This doesn't affect the damage on the railgun. People just don't want to be able to be one-shot. And I get it's 195 damage, but a one-shot to me is above 175. If you do above 175, it needs to go down below it. So I would make her rail do, 100 damage. Make it, and keep the 1.5 multiplier and headshot 150. That'd be perfect. But again, they haven't dealt with the problem. They keep on fucking around the outskirts, but they just won't deal with the problem. At this point, people are like, "Oh, goats won't happen in Overwatch 2 because they're going to patch." Clearly, no. This is a problem. This is essentially goats. We've had 3 months of Sojourn meta, and no fucking changes. I know people are like, no, they nerfed. Yes, they did, but did it change anything? If I have to play every game and Sojourn's still there, it changed nothing as far as I'm concerned. Again, just a sad change. And then Kariko got a recovery time from her healing from 0.85 to 1 second. What this does is it allows her to throw her kunai while it more incentivizes throwing a kunai while she's reloading her heal. Before, you could just, essentially they said you could heal bot, and it was the most efficient way to play her. And now it's like, alright, you heal, and then you have to throw. You have to hit your primary. That's how you're going to be good. You're supposed to weave your primary in between heals. And they said they did this because Kariko still needed large healing, because it's a slow projectile. And I agree. I think that's fine. And actually, my idea of supports is not to make them weak, is that you need to give them longer cooldowns. There should be basically power spikes for supports, and then it's basically timing windows. So I'm all for doing something like this. Yeah, and her ult's still strong as chat isn't. Yeah, that's it. This was the big patch. Fucking nothing, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what to say. They just... And I know this is like a meme, but it does feel like they don't play the game, and they're completely out of touch with the community. It's, I don't know what to say. It's... I don't know how they have fucking jobs, because if I did my job this poorly, I would have been fired. That's really all I have to say about it.